kitu ya kustabisha wa Kenya ni kwamba hawa watu shaile waliona kimeumana. Hakuna alikanyanga town. Moja alinipisha Nairobi Hospital akasema hakuwa admitted, awekwe tu maji kwa sababu si mgonjwa. Ndio asiende maandamano. Mwingine anakaa kwa nyumba yake. Mwingine anakaa kwa nyumba yake.
It's very unfortunate that the Deputy President is overwhelmed. And I guess that's why he's here, because he's completely crushed. We've not been able to have any conversation with him or even to see him properly, because we came in when the doctors were at it, and therefore we may not be able to talk about his medical status right now, but I'm sure you have heard from even the people who saw him come in. Things were a little bit heavy on him. Yeah, so we just came here to just support the family and support his workers, his support staff. They are really crushed, and we are hoping and praying that he's going to come out of it.
You don't sit in the Senate, but you've just seen what has happened in the Senate. Maybe a sentiment on this as the Deputy President is still in this facility.
It's quite unfortunate that politics has pushed us to the extent that we no longer respect life or dignify life. Because I thought the honorable thing that Senate should have done is to allow the Deputy President to get himself up and continue with the process. But if the Senate has decided that they really do not give weight to the human defeat of the process, then I think we have a lot to rectify in this country.
Tungetaka kuambia wewe mtu ya kitendawili, wachana na Deputy President William Ruto. Kama hii gari ya Jubilee imeharibika, William Ruto ni makanga, gari iko na driver. Gari ikiingia kwa mtaro, ni driver anaulizwa ama ni makanga? Ni driver ama ni makanga? Sasa huyu William Ruto ni makanga kwa gari. Kama gari unaona imeingia kwa mtaro, unauliza yeye nini? Si driver yako? Wewe face ye head on. Hapana ogopa. Wewe unataka kupiga Uhuru, unajificha, unajipiga kwa Ruto. Face Uhuru Kenyatta head on and accuse him of failure. And then mtaona vile mtaambiana na yeye. Kwa sababu wewe umekuwa ni mtu huongea mambo ya ukweli. Mulikuja mkasukuma William Ruto nje ya gari ya Jubilee. Wewe ukaingia na watu yako. Programs William Ruto walikuwa anasimamia, mkatoa yeye mkaweka Matiang'i. Kama hizo program zimeanguka, wewe Raila Odinga na Matiang'i mujibu. Muachane na huyu William Ruto, huyu ni hasala, anahasa huko kupanga mambo yake kidogo kidogo.
Let me tell you why Rigathi Gachagua was politically lynched. If you look at the process of impeachment, ideally, there ought to be, the language in the question is there may be a select committee of about 11 members who will then go and interrogate these charges, return a report. And that could have been, for me, a more elegant way. And I'm juxtaposing that to the importance of this office of the presidency. Because remember, as we said earlier, this is a president in waiting. It's not just anybody. It's not just any politician. You know, this is a person today, if the president collapses, actually will take over the reins of power and actually be the CEO of this country. So we should have, we ought to have attached, I mean, we're going back to the question of the spirit. What would have been the best way to go about this? Not to make the Star Senate a committee to impeach Gachagua. Because you needed to have attached importance. If you remove this person, what are the possible consequences? Because he is charged of being a tribalist. But today, I think the mountain is more united now, more than ever. I mean, the mountain is very much united, whatever you want to call it. But I think for me, wisdom ought to have reigned on the speaker, on the senators, to say, no, let's tread very carefully on this issue because of the implications. At least let's give an opportunity to a select committee to interrogate these charges, return to us their verdict.
You should have put that in the Constitution.
It is there. It is there.
Not as optional.
No. It is there.
You should have made it the requirement.
Kama kuna mtu unataka siasa, wewe kuja shindana na Rigathi Gachagua. Wacha kumwekea kesi. Wacha kumletea mambo ya DCI. It is criminal to use the criminal justice system to further political causes. Gachagua anaangaishwa, anapelekwa koti hii, anapelekwa pale, andika statement, anaulizwa maswali kwa sababu ya msimamo wake. Na mimi nataka nimwambie Bwana Rigathi Gachagua, vile umesimama na watu wa Madhira, na mimi nitasimama na wewe kidete.
Allow me to speak simplistically, because I'm not as learned as the colleagues on my right and on my left. And I also want the people to understand it.
Where you are.
The basic point. What happened yesterday was trial by sample.
Vote of no confidence.
Trial by sample. You see, this is the body, this is the neck, this is the head. We have started with the neck. We have found the neck to be cancerous. What is the effect of cutting off the neck? You've dismembered the neck from the body and from the torso. You understand? And it is a good thing. It is a good thing because evidently this structure has failed. And if the structure has failed, it must be repaired or a new structure put in place.
Yeah.
It is as simple as that. What is the take home here? And I keep on insisting, and I've given this advice publicly and privately to the president. You must disperse Parliament. You must disperse Parliament. Otherwise, the gangrene that is growing from the toes will go all the way to the heart. But I do not agree that the president must go. The president is the captain. When the ship is sinking, the captain will be the last person to leave the ship. Let the rats run away. Let the women, the children, and the disabled be jettisoned through the life support boats. But the captain must remain. And that is why in the structure of the Constitution, the design was, in the event that Parliament fails to enact the two-third gender rule, or Parliament itself is not two-third gender compliant, the person remaining to annihilate this government will be the president. And I say this with a lot of legal conviction. The president should not wait for this matter to reach the Senate. There is a possibility the Senate may acquit the deputy president. How will we deal with that situation? Disperse Parliament. You must disperse Parliament. Otherwise, this Parliament, and as I told you, 5 members of the National Assembly have said, one at a time. I do not think the invitation to bring in Raila Odinga to the House was well intended.
Okay, and
it will end badly, badly.
Given the example you have given of remaining with the captain because of the turbulence of the sea, and finally when the ship docks, should the captain go as well?
What happened to the Titanic? After everything was done, the captain knew that we're going to die. We're going to die. So the captain must be the most courageous of the crew in the ship. It's not easy to be president. You are elected president so that you die for the people, so that you don't sleep for the people, so that you are impoverished for the people. And it is for that reason that the turmoil currently prevailing is one that requires a lot of wisdom. I do not know whether my friend and client, President Dr. William Samoei Ruto, has wisdom in his midst.
All these things that are happening are a political chess game. So that when you see where the president is sitting, as he's engaging us, very busy with the Gachagua here, the National Assembly here, the Senate here, the other things are going through. Adani is going through. Shah and Schiff are just floating. This morning I've heard you say that this shift is not going anywhere. Nobody is saying that it's going anywhere. We are simply saying, what value does this whole health insurance scheme give to people? If you're asking me to pay for it, for 2,000 bob for optical, what's that? I mean, even NHIF was better. So why move from what is working to what doesn't work? So basically what we are witnessing is that, and by the way, unfortunately, and we've been here before where we've said things that are coming. Unfortunately, President Ruto is entrenching himself to be an ultimate dictator. He wants to be a king, he wants to be a president, and he wants to be a chief. Because having held opposition captive, having held a National Assembly captive, and most likely the Senate captive, we do not have voices that can, come against him. So basically we are dealing with a problem, and a problem that will come to bite us, because the moment you start lynching a deputy president, what will stop us from lynching the president? And remember, we do not have an IBC in this country as we speak. Mm-hmm. And we do not have processes that should lead us to some organized transitioning. So we are preparing ourselves for animation. We are preparing ourselves for very, very heated times. And we have actually destroyed trust levels in this country to the extent that nobody is going to trust anybody else when they are being promised that, okay, you will be deputy this, you will be prime minister that.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You'll be betrayed. And so people are going to go Thomas Hobbes. Mm. Thomas Hobbes was an English philosopher, and he said that man in the state of nature does not trust the other man. Mm. And that in the state of nature, life is short, nasty, and brutish. Mm. Now, when you have a country that refuses to mature 60 years down the line, has a progressive constitution which it wants to cannibalize, does not want to make progress, that country is preparing itself to go back to the state of nature, where life is short, nasty, and brutish, where people, there's a war of all against all. People come with ammunition to a table of discussion. So, because if you can't trust you, look at the kind of distrust now that is in the mountain region. They can't sit on a table and purport and say that they can trust they can trust anybody from where we are sitting. So we are having a situation where we are preparing ourselves for discussions that cannot have an end to themselves, because we cannot trust that what we agree will be implemented.
Will stay in place.
Kikuyu akiongea mnanyamaza. Mimi nasema hivi. Mimi kama Kikuyu nitasema maoni yangu. Juu nasema hivi, brothers, my fellow Kenyans, inasemekana ishakuwa confirmed kwamba unaona hii kelele yote kuna sababu. Na wapatie example. In a family meeting, watu wakikaa kwa clan na una pesa unapigia watu kelele. Kama una pesa kwa family meeting unapigia watu kelele. So hiyo kelele unasikia huyu jamaa ana float. Angekuwa float mviri zimetolea. That's why nasema hivi. Sometimes nasemanga na kizungu kwamba acha niseme Kiswahili because kizungu hamjui. Ile mawe imerusha na anga. Always don't hit the target. Unaona shida tuko nayo wa Kenya. Sisi kama Wakikuyu ndio tuleta hii shida. Because ile anga tulikuwa nayo 2022 ndio imefanya tumefika mahali tuko. Because hatukuwa sober. Because we know very well sisi kama Wakikuyu hatukuwa tumependa Ruto, but because we hate Raila. That's why tuko hapa. So hata saa hii sasa si ati tuna nini, si ati tumependa Ruto, but because kitu mlifanya tutafanya nini, tunawajibu. So that's why my fellow Kenyans, kitu mjue mpende msipende. Mpende msipende. Huyu mzee mnamdharau ndio atatuliza mambo. Because saa hii baba aseme wachane Gachagua, unajua mambo imetulia. Saa hii ule jamaa mnasema ni mtu mganga ndio anazatuliza mambo yenu. Pigeni kelele. Because hamuna float, wewe baba acheze game yake. Because nyinyi nimefanya yes, hao nimefanya tukua na hii shida. Ngoja, overrule. So, my fellow Kenyans, it is good kwamba hata kwa Biblia si ati Gachagua amefanya makosa, but we are doing kitu inaitwa cleaning up the society. For example, tukua na some manners. Hata Jesus Christ alipelekwa kwa Pilate akaambia kwamba akasema huyu jamaa hana nini, hajaona makosa, lakini bado anafanya nini? Alikuwa crucified. Hata sisi hana makosa, for the example ndio watu wasikuwa na good manners lazima aende yes, ama Kikuyu, original Kikuyu. So kutoka Karatina. So that's why my fellow Kenyans, mpaka ile siku mtakuwa na manners ndio Kenya tuta reason. But for now lazima aende, tukuwa na some good manners. Lazima fanya nini? Aende. Yes, bado ndio nimeanza. Ndio nimeanza sasa. Because hakuna time, ndio nimaliza. So that's why nasema hivi. Sikia namalize na hii. Namaliza na hii. Kitu Gachagua, yes, very neutral. Yes, Oyolo ndio next. Very very neutral. Ndio tukua na some manners na malizia na hiyo some manners kwanza, ndio ukikuwa kuwa na hiyo manners kwanza. Because mnasumbua wa Kenya sana. Yes. So like Kikuyu kama mimi kitu tufanye, let us set example na usikuwa na emotions, because hata hii mambo ya Gachagua mkuweke emotions but itaenda the other way around. Lazima mkuwa mtii, muombe wa Kenya msamaha, alafu tutawasaidia. Lakini for now Gachagua has to go home. Nimemaliza.
Mr. Speaker, if the deputy president had been quiet, he would have carried many people in this house. But he did not tame the tongue. And every time he spoke, he's just showing further and further division of the country. And I feel sad as a country that many people, even my friends, because I have many friends in central Kenya, who are calling me, are not calling me from a governance perspective. They are telling me, please save us Mount Kenya. Mr. Speaker, when will we ever reach a point as a country when we look at governance issues and not ethnic parochial issues that have divided the country for a long time, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, I do empathize with the Deputy President, and I wish the hand he extended to the President, he had done it much earlier. Mr. Speaker, I hope he learns from the experience of Coriolanus of ancient Rome, who had won many battles, and his fame preceded him. But when he got in politics, his mouth brought him down. Mr. Speaker, I support.
We want to make it clear that incitement of the public, inciting ethnic, religious hate is a crime under the law of Kenya. And we are not going to allow any person to incite communities against each other, to incite hatred among communities, among religious groups. And we want the people of Kenya to live in peace. Nimesema ya kwamba tungetaka wananchi wote wa Kenya, dini zote, kabila zote, zikae kwa njia ya amani, zikilindwa na katiba na sheria ya nchi yetu. Na kwa hivyo wale wote ambao wanaeneza uchochezi wa kikabila katika mitandao tunawatafuta, na hakuna tofauti ya yule mchochezi ambaye anaweka uchochezi wa kikabila na kidini kwa mitandao. Hakuna tofauti yake na ule gaidi ambaye anaua wananchi. Sio kama tunaelewana? Njia ya gaidi na njia ya mchochezi, njia yao ni moja. Kama wewe unachochea watu kuua wengine ati kwa sababu ya dini, kwa sababu ya siasa, kwa sababu ya ukabila, wewe hauna haki mbele ya sheria na hauna haki hata mbele ya Mwenyezi Mungu.
Whether he's a candidate in 2027, although all intents and all indications indicate that he wants to run for president. Here he has been mentioning that he wants to form friendship with the likes of Kalonzo, Wajakoya, and such like characters. And therefore, he's at liberty to do that. But their focus that we have asked him to focus on is on delivery on our manifesto. And that's why as members of parliament we said we do not want to be driven away from the focus that we had on implementation of our manifesto. We chose to have the minister in charge of national government coordination to help us coordinate development projects so that we realize the dreams and aspirations of the people who elected us and not be driven astray by those who are only after their selfish and very parochial interests of the 2027 elections. If they want to run for president, is a seat that is free for anybody to run, including you and me. and they can form friendships with Wajakoya and the others. They can peddle whatever I want to peddle with them and sell to the people of Kenya, and the people of Kenya will listen to them. What I would have expected the Deputy President to be doing now, even in an address, and I did challenge him last week, for 2 years he has never addressed any national media station to either articulate what government is doing or even advance government policy on anything, be it housing, be it universal health coverage, be it the stall projects you talk about, be it even business and the pending bills I had him mentioned by passing. We have never seen him. How I wish he would spend his time to focus on those people-centric issues and not selfish parochial things as he has engaged us in.